Well, this week, Bristol City headed to South Yorkshire and won ugly thanks to real Conway. They returned to within 30 minutes, and today they are searching for their first win at the very 79. 3 wins on the road for the Reds this season, just 1 defeat at the King Power Stadium, but little from that. Bristol how to win on the road. So who will come out on top today? Just shy of 1,900 travelling fans for the Reds up in North Yorkshire this afternoon, cheering them on. Will they be left smiling come the end of the fixture as well? Fingers crossed Bristol City can make it back-to-back away wins, and that will fire them on, hopefully, for the remainder of the season going into the international break. One man that refused to go up to North Yorkshire this afternoon is our guest today in the studio, Alex Duffel. Alex, brilliant to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. You were commentating, of course, on the game on Wednesday evening against Rotherham. Nigel Pearson said Bristol City won ugly. Did you see it that way?
Yeah, I think certainly for the first 80 minutes it wasn't the prettiest of games. It took 2 moments of absolute brilliance from Tommy Conway to give Bristol City all 3 points, and it certainly wasn't the best performance of the season that they've had, but at the end of the day it's the result that matters, and I think they'll be delighted with 3 points.
Absolutely. And I was actually looking at some of the stats after the game as well. I think there was something like 17 shots between the 2 sides as well. It wasn't exactly scintillating to watch. Was it just sort of was it a case of both sides not really at their free-flowing best? Where was Bristol City struggling until Tommy Conway came on? Yeah,
there were a lot of direct balls from both teams, a lot of balls going straight over the back of defenders and then just running out of play for goal kicks. I thought both sides just couldn't get their rhythm going, certainly in possession of the ball. As you mentioned, 17 shots for both teams, but I'm pretty sure Conway's first goal was the first shot on target. So there was a lack of accuracy from both sets of strikers. So it wasn't the most free-flowing of games, as you mentioned, but those 2 goals make it up for it.
And Conway's goals, I mean, we'll talk a bit more about Conway later on, but the goals were just incredible. Both very different, but both finishes of a striker with far more experience, you'd think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was the Tommy Conway that Bristol City fans have come to love. They've missed him so much whilst he's been out injured, and those 2 goals are just scintillating to watch.
Fab. Well, let's have a look at the teams then for today. Alex, you're going to take us through it, starting with Leeds.
Yeah, so manager Daniel Farke has made 2 changes to the side that beat QPR 1-0 in midweek. Sam Byram is fit enough to start at the back, despite some injury concerns, although Luke Ayling drops to the bench, so it's a slightly makeshift back line of Ampadu, Struijk, Rodon and Byram in front of goalkeeper Ilian Meslier. Kamara comes into the midfield and he'll partner 17-year-old Archie Gray in the holding role. Pacey Somerville and Rook James are on the wings. They'll be looking to provide plenty of assists, with top scorer Pirro in the number 10 role and Jorginho Rutter leading the line. It's a bench with plenty of experience for Leeds, including the likes of Carl Darlow, Cooper and Patrick Bamford. One very familiar name on the bench to the Robins fans is Luke Ayling, who made 80 appearances for Bristol City before moving up to Leeds. Nigel Pearson, on the other hand, praised his side's mentality following the late win at Rotherham in midweek and makes just the 1 change to the side that started that game. The back line and midfield is totally unchanged, and it's a side that many Bristol City fans will be coming used to see, and that only change is Nahki Wells, who comes back in for Harry Cornick up front. The bench is also unchanged, apart from Cornick, who drops to the bench for this game. Tommy Conway also features on the bench, and he'll be looking to replicate those heroics in midweek. The youngsters Yeboah and Nelson round out that bench, and I believe Nigel Pearson has been speaking to Robins TV prior to the fixture.
Nigel, Bristol City versus Leeds United. What kind of challenge are you expecting today?
Tough one. Difficult place to come to, but I really hope that our players are looking forward to it. It's a fabulous football arena to play in when it's full, and I think it'll be full today.
What kind of side will Daniel Farke put out today, and what do we have to do to beat them?
Well, they're a side who pass the ball, rotate a lot, so they Their movement up top is very, very fluid. They have creative players, but we've got to try and exploit them at the back. So the bottom line is today that although we know we're playing against a side who are in decent form in terms of their recent run, really what we have to do is try and get the best moments out of our last 2 away games and combine them. So we've got to be resilient at the back for sure, but more importantly we've got to have that killer instinct and that desire to make them work hard when we have the ball, because we've got players who can certainly hurt them, both starting the game and off the bench.
You spoke about players that can hurt them, you spoke about killer instinct. Nahki Wells really epitomises that, doesn't he? And he comes into the side today.
Yeah, I think I said before the game on Wednesday that we needed to freshen it up, and likewise today. Nahki comes back in having played a sort of cameo role against Rotherham, but he should be nice and fresh today. Obviously we've still got Harry to come on, and of course Tommy. So we have options throughout the game, but it's really important that Nahki sets the scene for us up top.
Packed out Ellen Road, nearly 2,000 City fans. It's going to be an atmosphere you can really enjoy.
Well, I think right the way through the season so far, our away fans have been magnificent. They follow us in great numbers. So to have two trips to Yorkshire in the space of 3 days is a big ask. But we've been followed in good numbers, and we need to put a show on for them.
Well, the away support has been amazing. I mean, there was something like 400 City fans up at the New York Stadium. Quite incredible to make that journey, and I'm sure there'll be some that did that journey that have maybe stayed up there and gone up to Ellen Road today, and it's going to be an atmosphere and a half.
Yeah, it's probably about 1,000 miles, I think, over an entire week for some City fans, so you've got to praise their loyalty and commitment to the club, and yeah, it should be a cracking atmosphere. Daniel Farker was speaking in his press conference. He said he wants Ellen Road to be rocking, and I'm sure it will be today. And
just quickly, Harry Cornick out to the side, is that warranted?
Yeah, I think he can probably count himself a little bit unlucky. Certainly that first half, I think it was more a case of City's passes into him just not being accurate enough. But Nahki Wells, what he does bring is that probably slightly more increased work rate. He'll look to make runs in behind the Leeds defence, which Cornick possibly doesn't do as much. And he'll certainly keep that Leeds backline occupied.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Alex. He's been very well supported this calendar year by one of our top scorers, Mark Sykes, and we caught up with him to ask a stupid question.
Mark Sykes, right winger. Probably scoring my first goal here at City. Bit of a relief, which I enjoyed it, and we ended up scoring 2 on the day, so against Birmingham. I did try and watch a few bits of a show, but my daughter keeps taking my time up, so don't get often to watch TV. Bottom of the sea. I don't think I do, but I often use my left boot first and then put my right one on, but I'm not sure if it's a superstition. Fictional's fake, right?
Correct.
Don't know. Homer Simpson. Don't know why. First one that came to my head. I love Dubai, only been twice. Was there in November and again this summer, so there. No tattoos, don't have any at the minute and probably won't ever get one. Haven't been promoted before, wouldn't mind that, especially this year. Joe's definitely in there. He's a bit stupid, but he's always up for something stupid. Maybe TC, and think of someone smart. Nahki Wells. He can be the brains behind it. Probably not the worst, but most difficult as well, Luton. It's up there with the worst, but I'm sure they're getting a bit of work done to it this year. So fair play to them for going up as well.
Mark Sykes there. I've had an outfit change so you can hear me better as well. Still loads to come, just over 15 minutes until kick-off, and we'll reflect on that amazing victory against Rotherham in the week. Welcome back to Robins TV. Bristol City travel to North Yorkshire this afternoon to face Leeds United at what will undoubtedly be a very hostile Elland Road. We'll have a look at Leeds United in a bit more detail shortly, but let's relive all the action from Wednesday night where Tommy Conway was the hero.
Just struggling to link up at the moment. Front three of Bristol City, whereas obviously they're changing it tonight with Conway coming in for Wells. And you didn't for Rotherham. It's a footwork. Ball comes into the back post. Header comes across goal. And Bristol City escape once again. Andre Green was lurking. Cornick launches this one into the box. Dickey wins the flick on. Chance for Bell. Couldn't quite reach it.
Lovely touch there in midfield. There's the chance just here.
Sam Bell just querying. Well, the player does have his arms around him, and he's certainly not looking at the ball whatsoever there.
I think, if we had VAR, that'd be a pen, if it works properly. But yeah, that's something you might see on the Rugby World Cup.
Keeser it was caught out. He launches this one cross field. That's pinpoint to Sam Bell, and a lovely first touch. Bell floats this one into the back post. Cornick couldn't quite get over it, just underneath that one. Good chance though for Bristol City.
Super switch of play there by Rob. Sam does really well, brings it down, slows down the fullback, and then off he goes. Delivers it. Good flight, just a little bit too high. But really, really good. The last 5 minutes has looked more like what we're about at Bristol City.
Positive play there from Bell, and Cornick was stretching for it, just couldn't quite reach it. With a number of changes that both sides have made, you can't really afford for this one to have 5-10 minutes where teams try and figure out their formations.
No, we have to go for it. We have to keep going. Here we go. There's a chance.
Here's a chance. Conway on the left-hand side. He's dancing feet. Conway! Oh, what a goal!
He's back.
Tommy Conway is back. and back with a bang. How Bristol City fans have missed seeing that.
Wow, Tommy, fantastic strike.
Out of absolutely nothing. Tommy Conway with a little bit of magic. Just picks the ball up on that left-hand side, drives into the box, onto the right foot, and that is a vicious strike.
It's an incredible finish, because if you look at the way he tucked the ball back out, it's outside, you think he's going to whip it, but the line of the ball he's took, the defender can't get near it, and then it's wrapped his foot and bang.
Unstoppable effort, nothing Johansson could do.
He is back, which is great to see, you know. But what a finish that is.
It's a brilliant goal. You can see what it means to the travelling support. You can see what it means to Tommy Conway. It's a good header away from Naismith. Nice ball in behind there, and a chance for another cross. There is the cross, and there is the equaliser. Tyler Blackett up from the back for the corner, stayed forward, and his low driven shot has got Rotherham back all square in this one. Lovely pass in behind, and the pull back to Gardner Hickman. Looking for that long crossfield ball. It's a fantastic ball out to Roberts. Picked up by Pring. Gardner Hickman once more. That's a nice ball. King with the looping in. It's Conway!
Yes!
It's Conway once more! Tommy Conway off the bench at the double. Has he secured a vital 3 points at the death? Great ball from Gardner Hickman. King on the overload.
What finish again.
And Conway with the deftest of touches.
Just watch his run though. Andy King gets it. It's a lovely ball by Kingy. Look at the run in there, and then a little flick.
A fantastic flick to break Rotherham hearts.
Two goals already.
That is the X factor that Bristol City have missed without.
The X factor there from Tommy Conway, but it came from the build-up for that winner there. I mean, you mentioned Taylor Gardner-Hickman off camera there. Was he particularly impressed? He's obviously had to fill in for George Tanner. George Tanner's been very solid in a Bristol City shirt.
Yeah, I thought Gardner-Hickman had a fantastic game on Wednesday. Those crossfield balls in particular from right to left just injected something a bit else into City's play. He was regularly finding Sam Bell, whoever it was out there, Tommy Conway, Andy King at the end there, as we saw for the goal, regularly finding him with pinpoint accuracy. And just that change of play just unsettled Rotherham a little bit and led to that goal at the end. And
Andy King's an interesting one because he's obviously just been back up to the King Power Stadium where he enjoyed so many years, winning the Premier League as well. And he's at a stage of his career, of course, where he's playing less. He's had a few spells with Bristol City where he's had to, through injury, play a lot more. He's obviously doing his coaching side of things as well, but it's worth its weight in gold, or at least him as a player, he's worth his weight in gold when he can just in those moments pick a cross up like that and find Tommy Conway. But the finishes as well.
Oh, they're superb. I mean, look, you've got that Premier League winner in Andy King. Any side is going to want somebody of his calibre, especially to bring off the bench that Bristol City can do with him. But those finishes from Conway, I mean, they are bordering on world class. They are absolutely superb.
Absolutely right. Well, let's Turn our attention to the man that was the hero the other night. Bristol City obviously today will be hoping they can build on that away victory, and it kind of does its bit to get rid of the heartbreak from facing Stoke City. But all these returning players mean they'll be bolstered after the international break. None more so though than Tommy Conway, who of course fired us to 3 points the other night. So let's relive some of the best bits of him over the last season or so. So here he is against Coventry. I think this was in the Cup, Alex, last season. And at this point, you're kind of thinking, you're not expecting too much from him in a Bristol City shirt, really, because he's a player that's come through the academy, rather like Sam Bell this season. And this was the moment, I think, in a game that's always very hostile, where he really announced himself. And he always mentions this in interviews as one of his favourite goals. Yeah, I mean, you look at the off-ball movement, it's absolutely superb. He really did turn himself into a complete striker last season. The movement behind the defence, it's a lovely ball through from Nahki Wells, and that first-time finish that we've come quite used to seeing from him is accurate as ever. And Rotherham hate playing against Tommy Conway quite clearly. He's leaning back. I remember I was commentating on that game, and just the way he managed to just hold his run slightly and then arc his back and find the finish there. It just shows how impressive he is with both feet and in the air as well. He's kind of the complete striker. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but he is showing signs of that. Yeah, I mean, even in the goals on Wednesday night, look, you've got one where he's used that pace, that skill, the trickery of footwork, and then fired a shot in. And then you've got another, as you say, that aerial prowess that he has, scoring a volley. So he's just turning into a fantastic, fantastic player for Bristol City. I suspect he'll get more minutes today off the bench than he did perhaps the other night with that 10-minute cameo. Let's turn our attention then to today's opponents, who will want an immediate return to the Premier League following relegation last year. They of course sit just inside the playoffs. They were leapfrogged by Birmingham following their victory last night. They are just 1 point ahead of Bristol City, so a big incentive for Nigel Pearson's men today in that they could leapfrog them into the playoff position. So let's look at some of the key moments from their last couple of fixtures, and this is where they really do excel, Leeds, on the counter-attack as well. We're going to talk a bit more about their defensive duty shortly, but it's 12 seconds start to finish here, and when you've got the pace of Dan James, formerly of Manchester United and of course a Wales international down that right hand side, Alex, there's going to be it's going to be a big test for Cam Pring. Yeah, Dan James is the leading assist maker in the Championship this season, and you can see why. James on the wing, they've got Somerville on the other wing, they've got a lot of pace going forward. And those late runs into the box from the likes of Joel Pirro, as you can see here, coming into the back post, make them a very, very, very dangerous threat going forwards. It's a really interesting one because, Dan James as well against Cam Pring. I mean, Cam has been superb, but that's got to be probably his toughest encounter so far. And even Taylor Gardner-Hickman down this other side, you've got Somerville, these players that have all proven themselves actually in the Premier League as well. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a tough test for the entire City back line today, and throughout the entire 90 minutes. I mean, you can see there that's Jadon Anthony scoring that one. He's going to be on the bench today for Leeds, so they've got plenty of firepower to bring on in the second half as well. So it'll be a real test. It's a side littered with Wales internationals as well. Joe Rodon, of course, at centre half. You've got Ampadu in midfield, Dan James in that front three as well. So a side full of international experience too. Right, let's look though where maybe Bristol City can exploit Leeds in an attacking sense. And this is where they're trying to play the kind of high line and play the offside trap. Armstrong, though, finds a way through. And when you've got the pace Bristol City possess with Sykes, Wells and Sam Bell, this is maybe an area they can look to punish Leeds. Yeah, definitely. I think Nigel mentioned it in his pre-match interview there. Leeds have got a slightly makeshift back line today. And if they do insist on playing that high line, it's certainly something that the likes of Wells and Sykes will be looking to exploit in behind. Really quickly, goal score prediction? I'll go 2-1 Bristol City. Thanks, Alex. Right, it's time for us to say goodbye to those of you that are watching on Facebook and YouTube. If you are overseas, you can still download your Matchday Pass at bcfc.co.uk.